The kingdom of my divine will in the midst of creatures. Book of Heaven, Volume 36, Part 18. December 25th, 1938. The Descent of the Word. How easy it is to make Jesus be born, as long as we live in His will. The paradise that the Queen of Heaven made Jesus find on earth. My poor mind continues its path in the divine will. Oh, how happy it feels in seeing that its little newborn wanders in search of its acts, to know them, kiss them, adore them, make them her own, and say, "How much you loved me!" I stopped at the descent of the Word upon earth, and I felt sorry in seeing him all alone. My sweet Jesus, with unspeakable tenderness, surprising me, told me, "My dearest daughter, you're wrong. Loneliness is part of human ingratitude. But from the divine side, all our works accompanied me, never leaving me alone. Further, you must know that the Father and the Holy Spirit descended together with me, while I still remained in heaven with them. They came down on earth within me, since we are inseparable. We cannot be separated, not even if we wish to be so. At the most, we bilocate ourselves, so as to maintain our throne in heaven, while forming our throne on earth. Being separated? Never! At the most, the Word took the operative part, but always with the concourse of the Father and the Holy Spirit. Furthermore, in the act of my descent from heaven, everyone moved to be my court and render me the honors I deserve. The sky courted me with all its stars, rendering me the honor of my immutability and of my everlasting love. The sun courted me, paying me the honor of my eternal light. Oh, how well it praised the variety of its effects! I can say that as I found myself with its light and heat, in its mute language it told me, "You are the light, and I honor you. I adore you. I love you with the same light with which you created me." All surrounded me, the wind, the sea, the little bird, everyone and everything, to give me the love and the glory with which I had created them. And they praised my empire, my immensity, my infinite joys. All created things made me a feast, and if I cried, they cried together with me, because my will, residing in them, kept them aware of all that I was doing. Oh, how honored they felt in doing all that their Creator was doing. Then I received the courting of the angels, who never left me alone. And since all times belong to me, I was also courted by all the many peoples who were going to live in my will. My will was carrying them in its arms, and I felt them beating in my heart, in my blood, and in my steps. In feeling invested by these people, loved by my own will, I felt repaid for my descent from heaven to earth. This was my primary scope, to reorder the kingdom of my will in the midst of my children. I would never have created the world if I was not to have children who looked like me and lived in my own will. My will would find itself in the same condition as a poor, sterile mother who is not able to generate, and therefore form her own family. But my will does have the power to generate, and to form its long generations, its own family. Then I continued to think about the descent of the divine word, saying to myself, how could Jesus be born within our souls? And my dear baby said, my daughter, to make me be born is the easiest thing. More so, since we do not know how to do difficult things. Our power facilitates everything. Provided that the creature lives in our will, all is done. As soon as the soul wants to live in it, she has already formed the home for your Jesus. At the moment she wants to start doing her acts, she conceives me. As she does her act, she makes me be born. As she loves in my will, so she clothes me with light, warming me from the great coldness of the creatures. Every time she gives me her will to take my own, I am amused. I have my toy to play with, and I sing my victory over the human will, feeling like the little triumphant king. See then, my daughter, how easy this is for your little Jesus, because when we find our will in the creature, we can do anything. It provides us with all that is needed and all that we want to form our life and our most beautiful works. But without our will, we remain hampered. Now, love is missing. Now, sanctity. Now, power. Now, purity. And all that it takes to make our life rise again and to form it within the creatures. Therefore, all depends on the creatures, since from our side, we place ourselves at their disposal. Further, during my birth, my divine mamma made me a beautiful surprise with her acts, with her love, with the life of my will which she possessed. She formed my paradise on earth. She did nothing other than braid the whole creation with her love, laying seeds of beauty, making me enjoy our divine beauties, within which her beauty was shining. How beautiful my mother was! How beautiful to find her in the whole of creation! She made me enjoy her beauty and the beauty of her acts. She spread her sea of love to make me find her love, my paradise of love, in all created things. I delighted and exulted in my mamma's seas of love. She made for me, in my will, the most beautiful tunes and the most delightful concerts. so that her little Jesus would not miss the music of the heavenly fatherland. My mother took care of everything, so that nothing would be lacking of the enjoyment of the paradise I had left. She kept forming in each one of her acts new joys to make me happy. By just leaning on her heart, I could feel such harmonies and contents as to be enraptured. By living in my will, my dear mother carried paradise in her lap and let her son enjoy it. All her acts did nothing less than make me happy and redouble my paradise on earth. Now, my daughter, let me tell you another surprise. One who lives in my will is inseparable from me. She is born again each time together with me. Therefore, I am never alone. I make her be born again with me to divine life, to new love, to new sanctity, and to new beauty. She is reborn in the knowledge of her Creator, reborn in each one of her acts. More than this, in every act she does, she calls me to be born again, forming a new paradise for her Jesus. And I make her be born again with me to make her happy. One of my greatest joys is to make those who live together with me happy. Therefore, be attentive to live in my will if you want to make me happy, if you want to find in your acts my paradise on earth. And I will take care to make you enjoy the sea of my joy and happiness. We will make each other happy. Fiat. December 28th, 1938. The echo between creator and creature. How one act in the divine will can be found everywhere. The king and the army. The maternity of the Queen of Heaven. Although my poor mind is under the nightmare of tormenting sufferings, to the extent of feeling as if I were dying, I do what I can to follow the acts of the supreme volition. I look for it, though with difficulty, as my refuge, to draw strength in this painful state in which I find myself. My beloved Jesus, feeling compassion for me, all tenderness, told me, "Daughter of my will, courage, do not lose too much heart. Despondency makes you lose strength, and makes you feel as if the one who lives in you and loves you so much is far away from you. You must know that as the creature enters our will, to give her will and to take ours, she starts our divine echo in it. As we hear this echo in our divine being, we say, 'Who has so much virtue as to produce the echo of her love, of her breathing and heartbeat in our supreme being?' Ah, it is a creature who has recognized our will and entered to live in it. Be welcome. We will make her hear our echo in return, so that we'll breathe with one breath, love with one love, beat with one heartbeat. So we will feel the life of that creature within us. We will never feel lonely And she, too, will feel our life in her, the company of her Creator, who never leaves her alone. You must know that no act done in our will ever ends. Rather, it is continuously repeated, since my will is everywhere. That act is repeated in heaven, in created things, and in all else. Therefore, one act in my will surpasses everything, filling heaven and earth, and giving us so much love and glory that all other works remain like many little drops before the ocean. We glorify ourselves through the creature who, covered by her Creator, operates together with him. Therefore, no matter how many beautiful things may be done outside of our will, they will never please us, because they are not ours. They cannot be diffused everywhere. Such love is so small that it barely covers the act it made, if it covers it at all. You must know that although we love the creature very much, we cannot tolerate having her with us so indecent, filthy, without beauty, naked, and covered with miserable rags. It would not be worthy of our majesty to have children who do not look like us, or who are not somehow well dressed with the clothes of our Fiat. It would happen as to the king, whose army and subjects are covered with filth, disgusting just to look at. One is blind, one crippled, another deformed. Wouldn't it be a dishonor for this king to be surrounded by an army of pathetic wretches? Shouldn't this king be condemned if he doesn't bother to form an army worthy of himself? Shouldn't all remain in admiration, not only at the sight of the majesty of this king, but also at his ordered and beautiful army, the blooming of the young, and the way they are dressed? Would it not be an honor for the king to be surrounded by ministers, and an army pleasing to his sight? Now, since we want to deal with the creature one on one, we have disposed in our invincible love and infinite wisdom to give her our will, so that she would be embellished with its light, clothed with its love, and sanctified with its sanctity. See then how necessary it is that our will reign in the creature. Only our will has the power to purify and embellish, so as to form our divine army. And we will feel honored to live with them, and they with us. They will be our children, surrounding us, dressed with our divine clothes, and embellished with our image. Therefore, our will purifies, sanctifies, and embellishes first. Then it admits them into our will, to live together with us. Furthermore, as the creature enters our will, our love is such that we shower her with our rain of love, and all run around her, seeing that we love her so much. The angels and the saints run to her to love her. The very creation joyfully exults in seeing our will triumphant in that creature. They all pour love on her, and oh, how beautiful she is, loved by all of us. and she feels so grateful for this love that she loves everyone in return. After this, I continued my round in the divine volition, and I arrived at the point of the birth of little Jesus, who was shivering for the cold, and wept and cried bitterly, with his eyes all swallowed in tears. He looked at me, asking for help, and between sobs and sighs, he told me, "My good daughter, the lack of love from the creatures makes me cry bitterly. As I see that I am not loved, I feel wounded, and the pain is so great that I burst into tears. My love runs over each creature, chasing her. It hides her while I replace her life with my life of love. But creatures ungrateful don't even say when I love you. How could I not cry? Therefore love me and calm my tears." Now, my daughter, listen to me and pay attention. I want to tell you a great surprise of our love, and nothing must escape you. I want you to know the extent of the maternity of my celestial mother, what she did, how much it cost to her, and what she is still doing. You must know that the great Queen was not my mother only in conceiving me, delivering me to the light, feeding me with her milk, and offering me all the possible cares that I needed during my infancy. This was not enough either to her maternal love or to my love as her son. Her maternal love was always running through my mind, and if sorrowful thoughts were troubling me, she laid her maternity in each one of them, hiding them inside her love and kissing them. I could always feel my mind as if it was hidden under her maternal wings, which never left me alone. Each one of my thoughts was kept by my loving mother, who gave me all her maternal attentions. Her maternity was placed in each one of my breaths and heartbeats, and if my breath and heartbeats felt smothered by my love and suffering, she would run with her maternity to free me from my suffocating love and put balm on my pierced heart. If she looked, spoke, worked, and walked, she ran as a mother to receive in her maternal love my glances, words, works, and steps, investing them with her love and hiding them in her heart. She would also make her maternal love flow in the food she prepared for me, so that while eating it, I could feel her loving maternity. How much more could I tell you of the expression of her maternity in my sufferings? There was not a pain, not a drop of the blood I shed, that was not felt by my mother. But after doing these things as my mother, she would then take all my pains and my blood and hide them inside her maternal heart to love them and continue her maternity. Who could say how much she loved me and how much I loved her? My love was such that in everything I could not be without feeling her maternity within me. I can't say that she would run, never to leave me alone, not even in my breathing. And I called her. Her maternity was for me a need, a relief, a support for my life down here. Now, my daughter, listen to another love surprise of your Jesus and of our Heavenly Mother. In all we did, love was never obstructed between us. The love of one ran into the love of the other to form one single life. But in wanting to do the same with creatures, how many obstructions, rejections, ingratitudes do we find? You must know that as my inseparable mother laid her maternity inside and outside of my humanity, so she was made and confirmed as mother of every thought, every breath, every heartbeat and word of creatures, placing her maternity in their works, in their steps, and in all their sufferings. Her maternity runs everywhere. If creatures are in danger of falling into sin, she covers them with her maternity to prevent them from falling. And if they do, she leaves her maternity as help and defense to make them stand up again. Her maternity runs and lays also on the souls who want to be good and holy, as if she found her Jesus in them. She becomes mother of their intelligence and guide of their words, covering and hiding them in her maternal love, in order to grow as many other Jesuses. Her maternity shows on the beds of the dying, using the rights of authority as mother given to her by me, in such a tender tone that I cannot refuse her anything. She says, "My son, I am the mother, and they are my children. I must save them. If you do not grant me this, my maternity would be compromised." And as she says this, she covers them with her love, hiding them with her maternity to rescue them. My love was such that I told her, "Mother, I want you to be the mother of all, and I want you to do for all creatures all that you have done for me, laying your maternity in all their acts, so that I will see them covered and hidden in your maternal love." My mother accepted and remained confirmed, not only as the mother of all, but also as the one who would invest each of their acts with her maternal love. This was one of the greatest graces I have given to the whole of human generations. But what pains does my mother not receive? Creatures even reach the point of not wanting to recognize her maternity, of denying it. Therefore, the whole of heaven prays and anxiously waits for the divine will to be known and to reign. Then the great Queen will do to the children of my will what she did for her Jesus, and her maternity will have life in her children. I will give my own place in her maternal heart to those who live in my will. She will raise them for me, guiding their steps and hiding them in her maternity and sanctity. Her maternal love and her sanctity will be impressed in all their acts. They will be her true children, being like me in everything. Oh, how I would love everyone to know that if they want to live in my will, they have a queen and a powerful mother who will compensate for all they lack. She will raise them on her maternal lap, being with them in everything they do, molding their acts as her own, to the extent that they will be known as the children grown, kept, and educated by the loving maternity of my mamma. These will be the ones who will make her happy, the ones who will be her glory and honor. Fiat, fiat, fiat. You have reached the end of the Book of Heaven. Fiat.